Okay, so just wanted to speak really quickly about something that is free because not much in this world is free anymore. But kindness is free, and as it's also, in my own personal opinion, it's something that on some level has to be taught because as infants we're innately selfish, right? It's feed me, clean me, hold me, um, and then as they're older, put me down, mine. So it's all about, self-preservation and me. And so we really do need to teach our children kindness and not just assume that it's going to happen. Um, and and when you do that, kids love to be kind. They love to smile. They love to give. If you give them the opportunity to give and to share and to help, you'd be surprised how much kids say they love that feeling. Like my kids love to volunteer. Ava wants to give away her shirt to everyone on a street corner. I mean, they love giving. It makes them feel good. And I've got some stories later. I'll tell you about that. But for tonight, I'm gonna keep it short because we were having the homework from hell tonight. So I only have a minute here, and then I'm gonna take myself into a shower and just wash off all this homework because I've been through the 4th and 6th grade. This is my third go round. Kinley, Ava, me, third go round at 6th grade. I'm over it. Trying to be kind. So anyway, so quickly, I'll tell you 2 little short stories. When I first moved to New York City, actually not the first time, the second time when I lived there for the longer period, I literally moved in one day and started work at Mount Sinai the very next day. And I was living at 90th and Central Park West, which is Upper West Side, and Mount Sinai is on the Upper East Side. There is not a subway that goes between the two. You have to take the crosstown bus to go through Central Park. So I figured that out from a neighbor, and I was like, okay, and she's like, just walk up to 96th Street, take the crosstown bus, you're golden. And I was like, sweet. And then when I got over there, just walk a couple of blocks to Mount Sinai, no big deal. So she said that it was like $1.25 back then or something to take the bus. So I had my dollar and my 25 cents. I had $1.25. And so I wait online to get, that's another thing. In the South, we say in line. Up there, they say online. It's a little different. So I was waiting online to get on the bus, and the bus showed up, and I, in my little scrubs, like, Ellie Mae here in New York City, don't know anyone or anything. So I get on the bus, and I hand the bus driver the $1.25. And he was like, are you kidding me? Get off the bus. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Is it not $1.25? I heard it was $1.25. And and he said, seriously, get off the bus. And I was like, what in the world are you talking about? And I said, oh, sorry, I thought they were coming in here. And I said, is it not $1.25? And so the girl behind me was in scrubs also. And bless her, she was a resident at Mount Sinai, and she said, oh, stop it. And she put a token in for me and said, let her on the bus. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Is it not $1.25? And she said, it is, but they don't take cash. They take tokens. And that was right before they were starting the Metro cards. So she said, they're going to start doing these cards, but you need tokens. And I said, I am so sorry. Here, please take my money. And she wouldn't take it. She's so sweet. And she said, but, you can get, you should be able to get cards soon, but go get yourself a handful of tokens and keep them on you. And I said, okay, thank you. And I was like, what if I'd missed that bus and ended up losing my job because it was my first day of work, and, not showing up on your first day looks bad. So I wish I could find her to tell her thank you. I didn't even get her name. But, and the really sweetest story ever is and this is to tell you what a random act of kindness can do. My dad used to say, people collect stamps or collect other things. And my daddy used to always say he collected friends. That's just what he did. He never met a stranger, talked to everyone. That was how he was. And so anyway, he was with some of his best friends. They were at deer camp on, I don't know, a river. Peckerwood is some weird name. I know, Peckerwood, that's a legit thing. but I think that's where they were. They were on some river, and they were, had gotten off. They were hunting or something. And my daddy always said you could ruin a perfectly good deer camp by killing a deer, because then they all have to work. I think they just like to sit around the fire and drink beer, tell stories. But the weather was getting really, really bad. And my dad saw this man in a yellow canoe coming down the river. And the guy didn't have anything with him, but my dad saw him, and the water was getting really awful. And so my dad went running out and flagged him down and was like, "Oh my God, get off the river. It's about to get really bad. You need to come off the river." And he helped the guy out to the shore. And he said, "No, I'm good. I'm just going downriver." And my dad said, "Absolutely not. No, you'll get killed. You got to get out of that water. It's about to get really bad. Come on up and have a beer with us and hang out and get warm and dry and have some dinner." So reluctantly, the guy in the yellow canoe, they pulled the canoe up and secured it, and he got out and didn't really have anything with him. And, well, I'll tell you that later. So he hangs out, and my dad and all the guys just really embrace him and start talking to him about, what he does, what he wants to do, where his dreams, all of this stuff. And they're having a great time. And next thing you know, he's laughing along with them. Ended up staying for a couple of days. I don't know, 2 or 3 days. He stayed the rest of the deer camp with them. And anyway, he came, they talked about, my daddy always wanted to go to Denali in Alaska, and so did the guy in the yellow canoe, who, God bless, I wish I knew his name. He came to the hospital years later, but when my daddy was dying. But so anyway, my dad always talked about the guy in the yellow canoe, and they kept in touch. And I believe he came to another deer camp or two. But anyway, they kept in touch. And when my daddy, a few years later, was in the hospital and he was dying of lung cancer, he was not conscious, or that we know of. He was sedated heavily on medication, and because he was in a lot of pain. It had spread to his bones and brain and everywhere. And this man, I was sitting with him for the last 2 weeks and never left that room. And this man knocked on the door and came in and said, "Hi, are you Mickey's daughter?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he said, "Well, my name is so-and-so." And I can't remember now. I was distraught. And he said, "I know you don't know me. I know a lot about you." And I said, "No, I don't think we've met." And he said, "I'm the man in the yellow canoe." I'm gonna cry, y'all. He said, "Can I pray with your dad?" And I said, "Absolutely." So he came over, and he said, he prayed with him, and then he told him, "I just wanted to let you know, Mick, I just got back from Denali," and was telling him everything. And then he confided that day on the river, all he had with him was a pistol, and he was going to take his own life because of some issues in his life that were happening. And because my dad pulled him off that river and gave him friendship, wanting nothing in return, he said, "But I'm here today because of your daddy." So, God, did not expect to do this, y'all. Sorry. Anyway, you never ever know when your act of kindness, whether it's just a smile that somebody needs, or buying someone's coffee in front of them at the Starbucks, or if you see someone digging in their wallet or looking for their food stamps. I don't know how many times I have looked at the cashier and just handed them my card or some cash and just said, "Please, please it would make my day if I could buy your groceries." It doesn't take much. If you've got it, even if it's just a little, if you see somebody having a hard time, kindness is free. Well, paying for their groceries is not, but kindness in general is free, and you've got endless amounts of it inside of you. So teach your children that as well. This whole world could use a lot more kindness and a lot more men in yellow canoes, and a lot more men like my daddy. Oh, I'd give anything to know that man's name so I could thank him for this. But anyway, I'm gonna go now. Y'all have a good night. Be kind.